All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I tried making this video earlier and it got cut short um, because I got interrupted, but I already put the different piles out. I would move the camera or the chair so that you could see all three piles, but Snobby's chilling on the chair, so I don't really want to move the chair at all, to be honest. So go ahead and just choose a reading, number 1, 2, or 3, to get your message. You could listen to multiple of the readings or all of them if you want. This is advice for your current situation, whatever that is to you. Yeah, so we're going to get into it. Oh, and you can go to the timestamps that are listed in the description below. All right, for those of you who chose reading number 1, so your situation, first we're going to look into it as well as advice. So we've got the 9 of Wands, okay, with the 3 of Swords. So maybe your situation is that you're taking a break right now because you're going through heartbreak or some sort of revisiting of the past trauma. Some situation that has really wounded you deeply when you think about it. Like it makes sense that it's heartbreaking to you. 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, maybe this is about like having gone through some sort of situation where you've now been separated from someone, whether it's through like a breakup or something like that. So that's a message I'm getting for reading number 1. Or that like your current situation is that you've been on a break because you've been heartbroken from a breakup that's been from like the past. But yeah, the way I'm interpreting it is that this is like a recent breakup or a recent separation of sorts. It doesn't have to be specifically a breakup for those of you where this is not about that. Um, I'm kind of getting like a love situation and or a physical financial situation type of a thing. So, yeah, your heart might be needing to heal and you might have your guard up at this time and you've been really resting a lot even though you're in a really difficult situation where you feel like you need to get moving and you need to get to this like better situation. So it's like you feel like now's not the time to rest, but your energy is just like you might just be so tired. So yeah, that's what I'm getting is what your situation is. So if that resonates, reading 1 might be for you. Some advice. We've got the comet, the satellite, and the 7 of Cups. And I think for some reason these cards are meant to be reversed because these 2 cards like fell off of my lap and onto the floor. And when I picked them back up, they basically got switched around. So I feel like your advice is to stay put. Don't go anywhere that you don't have to. At times when you don't have to go anywhere, pretty much don't. Um, like what you're looking for is going to find you. So that's what I'm getting is your advice. And it might be painful, but try to be optimistic about anticipating things coming in for you. Maybe a response. I'm just going to draw another card. Seven of Swords. Your advice, I think, is to work through your anxiety and to work through confusion and stress, things like that. So yeah, I'm getting like, it's not that you will mess things up by taking action or moving forward at this time. It's just that, like, are you in a mental and emotional space to do that right now? Do you feel like, do you feel prepared for the outcome? And some of you might be also feeling anxiety because you feel like this moment is passing you by. Um, like if you have a deadline, for example. So your advice might be to like try to relax, to breathe, to work through like some things. Another message I'm getting is the reason why this came up reversed isn't because isn't because it's time to like be held back right now, or like for spirit to stop you from moving forward at this time, or from taking steps out there. It's more like spirit is kind of actually wanting you to, but knows that what's holding you back is some deep mental and emotional wounds. There's definitely a lot of wounds coming in here because we've got the Seven of Water, Seven of Cups, and there's like arrows piercing through here. And then we've got the Three of Swords, which has like swords piercing through the heart. So this to me is about like processing these um, emotions and thoughts sort of on your own or with trustworthy people. And that you also might even be experiencing untrustworthy people in your space. Social media is a really easy example of how that could be the case. Um, and like dealing with trolls, for example. I'm dealing with some trolls right now on the internet, and it's like, I guess it's like I picked that battle, but it's like it felt important for some reason because I don't know. I just like to express myself whenever I like to express myself. Sometimes, like, you just, like, can't be held back. It's like, no matter how much you're like, oh, I probably just should leave it be, their response is going to just be really annoying. It's like sometimes you feel like you just can't help it, and you're just like, I just need to say something. You might not even know exactly what to say, but just that you need to say something, you know? I'm not sure if everyone out there relates, but that's definitely the case for me. Um, and it's like your advice is to really don't let these people get to you. Don't let the outer world try to like um, convince you that you're something that you're not. So, yeah, that's your advice for the situation. And your advice is like letting you know that like what you're looking for can be found. This is a cliche, but it can be found within. It can be found right in the comfort of where you are right now. Um, that might not mean that like things are going to happen right away, but just that like you have all the tools and resources that you need to manifest what you desire. Let's get one final piece of advice. Justice card. This is just saying, like, do what you think is right. Like, no one can really tell you what to do and what not to do, including this reading that you're listening to, you know? But it's like you can reflect based off of your surroundings. You can reflect off of this video, you can reflect off of anything and decide, is that right for me? Do I want to do this or not do this? Like, so I feel like the last message is like literally do the right thing and the right things will happen for you on your journey. And sooner than you think. Yeah. It's kind of amazing how quickly things can change. Yeah. And it's also interesting. We got the card number 15, then 16, and 7. 7 of Cups. So I'm getting 17. The Star card, Hope. So your advice is to surrender your fears, surrender your anxieties, let those be released. And call upon your inner strength, your wisdom of what you know is right. I feel like yeah, you can just I feel like this is an important time for you to take this part of your journey seriously and to like actually take some pride in who you are as a person. And yeah, the wings of justice are on your side. So you might run into judgmental people or whatever, but honestly, like whatever they think, the wings of justice are on your side. So that's what I'm picking up on what to say here. So I feel like the advice also kind of depends on who you are in terms of this. Like, if you're the one who shut others out versus if others are the ones who shut you out, the advice is like slightly different. If it's that others shut you out, your advice is like, let them be, like, do your own thing. And like, you can like reach out or take whatever steps you want. But basically, like, your advice is like, focus on yourself and the challenges that come with this situation that you're in. But if you're on the other end of things where you're the one who's done the shutting out and the people you shut out are like wondering why, or they're like, you know, really confused by that. Um, Also, if you shut out like really, really like the people who don't have your best interest at heart, like that just makes sense. But like for those of you who did that as a trauma response, not really because the person did anything wrong, but you're working through your own things, then your advice is like, did I already put the cards away? Yeah, I did. Oh, they're on the back here. Your advice is like to actually open yourself up again and like work through your fears of rejection, of being judged by others, by being misjudged. Um, have strength in reminding yourself who you really are and be true to that. So I don't know. That's just like the message I want to read because I'm an optimist. I believe in like people being able to come back together. I think after a period of time, as people move forward, sometimes a part of us always wants certain people to come back into our lives. But also at the same time, like we end up meeting people that we wouldn't have met if we stayed stuck in a previous situation. So this is really a situation that's kind of up to fate. There's no like really telling what exactly is going to happen, how exactly each person in your situation is going to handle this. But I personally do see the potential of a silver lining of a reconciliation for those of you who have that much established love and communication and trust with someone. If that communication and trust is broken at this time, like as it may have been before, like I'm in a really on and off situation, I feel like chances are, like, if you really mean, like, if you really mean that to each other, like, if you really mean something to each other, like, I believe both people will end up eventually putting in mutual efforts that are balanced and fair. So ask yourself, have I been giving too much or not enough? And depending on, and that's not to say that any of you are not enough. We are always enough. You are always enough. But just like in terms of like literally in terms of give and receive in a situation, if you're just being completely real, like ask yourself if it's been fair for both people or for everyone involved, and in which ways is it fair or unfair. Have you been Is it unfair because you've been giving all of the efforts and putting everything together, and the other person can make a billion mistakes, and the moment you make one they take off? That's my boat. Or are you the other boat where it's like you make a bunch of mistakes that the other person is okay with, because not necessarily okay with, but they accept you for who you are and they understand that everybody makes mistakes and that nobody's perfect. And as time continues on, they give and give and give, and you just sort of like receive. And once you get hurt one time, or like certain amounts of times, like you don't give this same understanding and forgiveness, and you like shut down, put your walls up, like all these sorts of things. And those two different boats can of course blend in some sort of unique way according to you, the viewer. So it just depends on like how it all fits with you, how out of balance are things. And this is just like reminding you that you have the power to balance the scales. And sometimes balancing the scales, it's the people who really have a lot of the power to like make it turn out right for a reconciliation that makes it really frustrating. Like some of you, many of you listening are probably in the boat of how like you did all of the work, so to speak. So it's like you kind of know that the way for you to balance the scales is to basically snip, snip, let this connection go, like let it go, like um, pretty much just allow for the universe to let things happen and like decide that if they're going to put in efforts, then cool. But if not, that like you're gonna do your own thing. Like that can be really frustrating. Um, and if that doesn't sit, if doing absolutely nothing and just letting a connection go doesn't sit right with you, then that's not right either, and therefore do something. So it's like this is like stop worrying about what you should or should not do and start doing what you think is truly right. And if you are really not sure of what that is, your advice is to really work through that. Like, trust that whatever you most want to do, that you feel really serious about, like, I don't know how to put it. It's just like, I feel like not everyone else has as strong of a sense of like self injustice at times. Like, I've noticed that in my life ever since I was little, I've always taken things very seriously and had a really strong sense of self, of right from wrong, of what I think is right from wrong, and acting accordingly. So Your advice is to kind of like harness that energy and to keep doing that. And that's like, you can't really go wrong with that, honestly. So, yeah. Very long reading. I thought it was going to be pretty short, but then I just kept going. So, my apologies. I hope that resonates. And I will see you all later. Take care. All right, for those of you who chose reading number 2, so we're going to look into like what your situation is, as well as some advice about it. So the Page of Swords. So, okay, the Two of Swords. Some of you are really needing time to think, and you're not sure of what decision to make. The Six of Pentacles. Because you're trying to do what's fair. You're trying to do what's right and what's balanced and practical. And I feel like you're in a generous sort of an energy where the decision that you're trying to make is you're trying to make a good decision that benefits yourself and others. But for some reason, you don't know what to do. You don't know if you should keep thinking and planning or if you should offer up your services now. So, example could be that like you really want to help, but you're not really feeling like you have much to offer. So you're like, well, when I earn this much, then I'll be ready to offer. Or when I reach that point in my life and that level of stability or whatever, then I'll be able to like reach out and help. Something like that. And I'm just kind of like getting like that is always going to be a state of being if you keep thinking of it that way. But rather, maybe the advice is that you could see yourself as worthy and valuable always, no matter what, no matter where you're at right now. You are valued and you are important. So, some of you, your situation reading 2 is like feeling stuck between waiting or reaching out slash like doing or getting out there or like spending perhaps or like making certain like decisions that are going to expend your energy, either expending energy to make money or expending money to make energy. For example, spending money to buy food, spending gas to get to an important place. I don't know. Spending money to get a book that's like very informative or some sort of healthcare, you know, just like something along those lines. Like, yeah. And of course, like trust yourself above all else. If you feel like not ready to spend certain energy or money, then save, of course, like do your own thing, be practical, of course. But for those of you who feel like this is the right message, like to sort of just send it and like do the thing, I feel like you should do it. So let's look into your advice. So we got the King of Wands. Yeah, I feel like your advice is to like rely on ethics and integrity, on the knowledge that you do have within you. Don't let the illusion of fate and destiny tie you down. Remind yourself that you are free to make decisions for yourself. You don't have to be held down by your past, by feeling unworthy, and so forth. It's time for you to reclaim your power and to remember that you are worth everything, that you are worthy of love and joy and fun and pleasure, and you're worthy of success, and you are always success. Seven of Pentacles. And your advice is like to allow the practicality to guide you. Like some of you really want to do something and you feel like spending that money or energy will cause delays. For whatever reason, your advice is to do so anyways because it's your next step forward. Some of you are like, I really want help. I really want to see, I don't know, a massage therapist or a therapist or a doctor, or I really want to start buying more herbs. I really want to, like, I don't know, just buy that video game. That might sound more impulsive, but for some of you, that might be really important. Like, it might mean the world to you. For those of you who are wondering if that's my situation, it's not. I do love video games. And I did buy a video game, like, I don't know, 2 months ago. But I'm just trying to come up with, like, examples. I'll just start using my own. Like, gas is a really big thing for me. Like, I'm trying to really conserve gas, but it seems like today of all days might be the day that I'm going to expend a little bit of gas to get some important things done, hopefully, or soon at least. So yeah, this is like saying, like, the energy you're expending might put yourself in a bit of an awkward spot where, like, this net is over the bird. It's like you took that sort of leap of faith where you're like, okay, if I spend this, I spend it and I'm going to trust that more will come in later. So, like, let's say you only have like $30 in your bank account or $200 in your savings or just whatever. And there's something that you really feel like doing right now that's going to either use all of it or like a lot of it. It doesn't even have to be money. It could be, like I said, gas. It could be your own physical energy to, like, I only have enough energy to make it to the store and back. Like, planning out your energy, using what energy you have to gain something and hoping that it will be enough because you will always be enough. It's kind of scary, but it's like some of you, this is like a promise. So someone's situation that I know is that they're like setting up services and they've officially put those services out there publicly, but they have yet to make a sale. So it's like, I've set up these services. The next step is assuming that they're going to work out and then taking the next action and promising or like communicating, like, okay, like, this is going to work out. So if you're seeing the vibe of what I'm getting at here, it's like taking some sort of risk is the word I'm trying to come up with. Risk. It's high risk, high reward. But really, how high is the risk? Yeah, that's the question. Your advice again, Six of Pentacles. This is so funny because the keywords in this one say investment, value, and the last word is risk. I know you can't really read the words here, but, like, I'm not making it up. It's literally right there. So that's very, very interesting. You're worried that taking this risk is going to cause delays on your journey financially. But funny enough, it's actually what's going to free you from delays. So take the risk. Yeah. And again, that's tough to say what that is for each person out there, but you're just going to have to kind of make that decision yourself. So I hope that resonates with you. I know that was very financial oriented, but of course that could very easily apply to like a love situation as well. Yeah, I just flipped open to the Queen of Cups. So this is something that you feel really deeply about. It's very important to you, whatever the situation is. So I hope that resonates. Take care. All right, for those of you who chose reading number 3, what is your current situation? And then what is your advice about it? I think I saw temperance, but anyways, your situation is the 6 of Swords, the 2 of Cups. Ooh, reading number 3. This is a good situation to be in. And the Knight of Cups. So some of you are really moving past a difficult time in your life. You just know that you're moving on to a better period, a better phase on your journey. Like you could be getting out of a rough situation, and maybe the transition is rough, but as you're going through it and as you get closer to it, you're like, this is feeling right. This is feeling like it's bringing me peace already. Like I'm not even sure how we're going to like do it all, but I just feel peace with the situation. Like this just seems really, really good. So you're really moving on. Some of you, this could be like moving on from a past relationship, moving on from a past environment, moving on from a past job, a way of living, past mindset. It can be anything and everything, all of the above. But yeah, reading 3, I'm definitely going to read this as a love reading because it's like you're moving on from a past life and now you're coming together with true love. Not to say that any connection from before wasn't true love, but there were aspects that embody true love and other aspects that really embody loss and betrayal and insecurity, instability, challenges, uncertainty, things like that. So it's like now you're approaching this connection where there's actually like so much harmony there, so much love and trust and stability, and lots of romance and a lot of expression of romance, a lot of expression of feelings of love. Very open heart, still with a guard up, still with needing time to grow as a connection, both as individuals and together. So maybe you've only met just recently, or this is your situation is that you're approaching the day where you meet someone. Take that however that resonates. But that's what I'm getting is your situation. So what's your advice? So yeah, we do have the Temperance card. Once again, my apologies about the camera. So it says assistance, encouragement, and patronage. Okay, and then the Page of Cups, as well as the 9 of Wands. Your advice is also to heal and to find a way to balance some of your past life with your upcoming life. So it's like you're taking loved ones with you on this journey. So it's not like you're just leaving absolutely everything behind. There are certain important energies, connections, things that you think about that were really important to you from the previous part of your life that are really important for you to bring with you to your new life. That you still want to share your heart with certain connections, even if it's in a new form. Your advice is to not give up on that. And to not give up on this new love, and to not give up on some older connections as well. So for those of you who are really confused about for example, who to choose, this is kind of like choose everyone, choose everything. Most importantly, choose yourself, of course. But yeah, this is like incorporate all of it, integrate the lessons and the blessings all into one story that is your life. So you've got some loved ones that you perhaps feel like taking with you. Don't leave them behind. You've got room for new love. Don't let your past connections stop you from experiencing this new love. And that might be why you feel like you can't just quite let things go quite yet. You have yet to reach closure with the past. Yeah. And with your current situation. So this is saying like that's because there's some unfinished business, and your advice is to bring hope and peace and optimism into this unfinished business, because you could change the outcome and get something more positive for yourself at this time. So I'm getting like, go out there and get it. You've had enough time to stabilize what you want. Or if you need a little bit more time to do that, then do so. But if those of you feel like you now have your path more set about what you want at this time, start incorporating and integrating things. So like for me, I'm going through a separation from someone important. I've also met someone new, and I haven't been sure exactly how my future is going to look in terms of these people. And now I'm pretty sure that I want both of these people in my life. And now I'm pretty sure of what form. So now I feel more confident in trying to make a fool of myself and try and reach this person that I've been out of contact with for the last like couple weeks. For those of you who know me pretty well, I'm talking about my ex. Um, he's still really important to me, and I don't know. I I don't know. I just, yeah, where I'm at on my journey is like, as much as I should leave it up to him to like reach out and stuff, which I've allowed time and space for that. I just oftentimes still take matter into my own hands, where I'm like, this is ridiculous, and I like do my thing, and it turns out to be the right thing to do. So I'm just gonna trust that. But yeah, just like a final message of advice for everyone here for reading number 3. Ace of Swords, detection, detail, investigation. So it is something along the lines of what I'm saying. Of course, it's probably different to you, the viewer, your situation, but this is saying like pay attention to what's intriguing you at this time. Your heart is wanting you to do something right now. You're very interested or curious about doing something at this time. Do it. So the energy is shifting. There's a bit of an action-oriented energy now. Lately, I feel like many of us in the collective have just been taking a lot of rest, feeling like we're not doing anything. That's me. I've been sleeping almost like all the time for the last like several days. Um, but yeah, maybe it's things are starting to move a little bit where you're feeling like taking some action. So that's what I have for reading number 3. Um, I'm just gonna copy and paste these timestamps. Um, but yeah, that's everything. I hope this all resonates. And sorry if the situation was not too detailed. I felt like reading 1 went twice as long as I had wanted it to. I was trying to make like brief readings. So I don't know. Um, but yeah, I'd love to hear if this resonates with anyone out there. And I hope this was good advice. So yeah. All right. Take care.